Walking the face of the earth, I've been asked many of times, are you a sociopath? Are you a narcissist? Are you a dark triad? Who is this guy? Why is he so manipulative? Why does he talk like that? And so we ought to get to the bottom of it. What am I? Let's do a test to find out, am I really crazy or am I just that cool? Folks, we're going to start off nice and simple. We've got a sociopathy test. Am I really an unfeeling Machiavellian figure in American contemporary living? We're going to see right now. Question number one. Are you superficially charming and intelligent? Yeah, obviously. Do you have delusions or other signs of irrational thinking? No. It's all very much in line. Are you overly nervous or anxious? No. Now, in certain cases, there are, I personally, I remember going on a speed date several weeks ago where I overcooked it. Frankly, folks, if I do anything wrong with Riz, it's overcooking it. I talk a little fast. I'm a little intimidating. And I suppose that's the problem with me. Now, I will say that oftentimes comes because I just don't care, right? Maybe that is a little sociopathic. I just don't care what people think, but that makes me more of a psycho, not social. So you got to look at the pathology there. And yeah, so I do sometimes overcook it, but most of the time I'm pretty calm, I'm pretty quiet. Then I talk, everybody's like taking it back. Okay, so frankly, I'll just say that I'm not nervous. Question number four. Are you generally reliable? Yeah. Now, people might say, Lalo, you're kind of a flake, but when I'm a flake, it's like you ought to get the message. I'm just not trying to be a dick, right? Like if I'm not picking up your phone, it's because I don't want to hear you talk, okay? That's just me being nice. Could I be more honest? Sure, but like if I leave you on red, if I leave you undelivered, just get the point, right? I don't want to talk to you. At least not for a while. Let it blow over. Maybe you kiss me up, butter me up the right way. I might talk to you again, sweetheart. But the fact is that you get the point, right? Anyway, do you regularly tell lies or say insincere things? Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, I mean, the point is here is that obviously I do white lie all the time, right? I say things that are insincere because people cannot take the truth, and I am kind of blunt, so I kind of offset that because I really could get away with a lot more lying. I could get away with a lot more manipulation, but I choose not to. In part because it is somewhat exhaustive, but also because I don't feel like I should. Because that's, oh, you're a Christian law, though. Yeah, I guess. So, I could lie more. I figure I shouldn't. And so I don't really lie that often. But I will say, more than the average person, sure, I do lie. And I do say insincere things. I'll pretend to be nice to somebody just to get along with them because, why would I pick a fight, right? Like if somebody says, like, let's say I have a negative opinion on someone, but I'm really just acquaintances with them. Am I really going to knife them when, I mean, that's kind of a waste of time? I'll just brush it away. It's kind of like, instead of just tackling somebody, I could knock this person out, but I'd rather just spin around, juke them, and just save the momentum for the touchdown, is the way I want to look at it sometimes. So that does make me somewhat of an insincere person. Number six, do you feel remorse or shame? Not really. Not as much as the average person, but do I feel them? Sure. But I mean, generally speaking, am I as shameful as the average person or even anything approximating that? No. And what I mean is that I'm not as self-conscious as the average person. I feel all the range of emotions. I just simply don't care because I'm not as insecure as the average person, right? So like I could act a little more flamboyant, I could move my hands more, and I'm not insecure about that because obviously I'm way better than most people in regards to entertainment factor. And so what if I do this? Just get over it, sweetheart. And could I be reserved and kind of have this like sort of like suburban dad aesthetic, like, oh yeah, 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 no arm movement. Like we wanna have a little bit of fun here, folks. So let's go ahead and just say I don't feel remorse or shame. Seven, is your behavior antisocial for no good reason? I mean, there's a good reason if I am antisocial, right? Number eight, do you have poor judgment and fail to learn from experience? I will say that I have great judgment. Nine, are you pathologically egocentric and incapable of love? No, I think, and I feel like, and it'd be important to kind of ask ex girlfriends, like, hey, did Lalo actually love you, or did he like the idea of you? That's a great question. Honestly, am I more egocentric than the average person? Yes, but can I still love a girl? Of course. And I think that now that there's some internet dynamic, not to get into personal stuff, but it's like, okay, is there somewhat of like a through line, some sort of a complication here where obviously there's like the content, how kino something is per se, versus like, do I actually love this chick? But it can be both, right? But I do care more about the entertainment factor than the average person, but I still can love a girl. So I think it's somewhat of a complicated thing. But am I egocentric? Yes, but not to an unhealthy degree. And what I mean is like when you're young, who's gonna believe in me but me? I need to believe in myself first, and then everybody else can follow in my cult. But I need to believe in myself first and foremost. So to be egocentric at this point is fine. Egocentric as like a dad would be a different dynamic entirely. But to have this sort of Kanye energy, like, you know what? Fuck you, Taylor Swift. I'm coming up. I'm snatching the award. I talk. That's me. I'm the protagonist. I'm doing it. That's it. That's the sort of energy we need as men. So, am I pathologically egocentric? Nah, not really. Am I incapable of love? I'm a very loving person. People understand this. I'm very nice to everybody, actually. Now that you look at it, I'm nice to everybody. So, I'm blunt, but it's different. Okay, cool. Do you experience, and you know what? Actually, if I were incapable of love, then I'd act different, right? I mean, clearly I've done things in the past that were not the most productive. And there's a Drake lyric from the song Hype in 2016 from the album Views that goes, chasing women a distraction. Exactly, right? So if I were such a sociopathic person, I wouldn't be talking to girls to any near of the capacity that I am currently. Which is to say, because yeah, it is a waste of time. Like ideally, I wouldn't talk to a girl for like 5 years. Once I graduate college and okay, have my money, all right, then I could talk to women. But like, there's still like parties to attend. There's still some riz to go on. So you know what? I'm not a sociopath in that respect, obviously. And I mean, and again, I'm hinting at something, but like, could I fall in love with a crazy chick? If I were a sociopath, clearly that doesn't check out. So I'm not a sociopath in that respect. So I plead the fifth on that. Okay, 10. Do you experience emotions like most people do? Well, obviously not. Clearly, I act very different. Now, do I feel all the emotions? Yeah, but do I receive them the same way? I guess not. And what I mean is like, can I feel the wave hit me? Yeah, but am I moved by it? Probably not, unless it's like a really big thing. So things that would make, things that I find trivial, somebody else might seem would actually care about. Like I could read in the news that 10 little girls got abused. Okay, I don't care actually, but somebody else might be like, oh man, I feel bad. It's like, well, I mean, that's in Columbus, Ohio. Why would I care? So I guess in that way I'm different. But can I feel something? Yeah, like when my uncle died, did I cry? Yes, like a bitch. But I mean, everybody does. So anyway, we'll just say no. 11. Do you like insight? No, I'm very insightful. I'm extremely smart. That's not the case. I'm very knowledgeable, wise. 12. Do you often have to fake your actions in responses to others? What does that even mean? No, I'm not very fake. 13. Does your partying behavior get out of hand? A little bit. A little bit. Like I have blacked out once, kind of twice, and I have vomited like 4 times. But I've only gone to like a dozen of these like college parties and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm not that crazy, and it's not like I have caught a case or anything, and it's not like I've had a DUI or anything. So, but at the same time, have I gotten out of hand? And am I one of the more crazy people at a party? Yeah. Life at the party. Yeah, let's go. I'll say honestly, I'll say not out of hand given like what I could do. I could be doing Adderall with the beer, but I'm not. So 14 says, do you make false suicide threats? No, I'm like the last person to do that. 15 is your sex life impersonal, trivial, or poorly integrated? This is a good question. Now, I had a previous interaction where I was being a little bit honest, and of course, people will spin this the wrong way, but it's like, you know, I don't know, should I be okay? Look, listen. The point is that at one point I told a girl that, yeah, like, during sex, can somebody very intelligent and somewhat sociopathic, can that person find this sort of interaction to be kind of surreal and funny? Yeah. And so, I mean, you can kind of escape yourself and you can kind of astral project in a sexual manner and say, like, look at me. I'm with this chick that I wanted to sleep with 3 months ago. And now I'm here. Now I'm here. I mean, that is somewhat awesome. And so, like, a year ago, could I laugh at that scenario? Yeah. Does that make me sociopathic? A little bit, sure. But, like, that's kind of cool, frankly. So get over it, sissy. Uh, so now, is it someone impersonal? Sure. Because on one hand, you can have a girl like in my case, let's say the girl's like clawing on my back and she's like, and she's talking. I'm not really talking. I'm just giggling to myself. So is it somewhat impersonal in that way? Yeah. But I mean, in my own way, I am loving. It's just that I personally am not enjoying it as much as the girl is most of the time because I'm kind of like outside of the frame, so to speak. but I still won't eat the box if that's what people are asking. But I'll say, is your sex life impersonal? No. Okay. 16. Have you failed to follow a life plan? No. I mean, I'm not even through college, so I don't know what that means. All right. Am I a sociopath? Yes or no? 5 out of 25. Scoring in the sociopath test. There are a total of 25 points. If you answered yes to questions 1, 5, 7, 9, 12, 14, or 15, and no to the rest, you exhibit symptoms of sociopathy. However, there's no foolproof way of diagnosing you as a sociopath. So if you have concerns, please seek professional help. So there you go. So I'm like 20% of the way to sociopath. Exhibit some traits of sociopathy, but not foolproof. There you go. That is the ideal, folks. That is born and bred lawyer slash politician build right there. I'm the Barack Hussein Obama the second. Joking. But I mean, that's kind of cool, right? Time for the dark triad test. Now, this is going to be a little bit more broad of a topic. So let's go ahead and do these real quick. These are 36 questions. I enjoy picking on losers a little bit. Yeah, I do. I do. A little bit. I dominate social situations, of course. I avoid direct conflict with people who may be useful in the future. Yeah, obviously, that's smart. I mislead people so as to look better in their eyes. A little bit, sure. I deserve to have great recognition, acknowledgement, and success to come my way. Of course, I do. I am cynical. Nah, I'm neutral. You know, I'm a positive person because I haven't been scorned by experience, I suppose, which means that I'm not cynical, but I'm also well aware of circumstances around me, which would make me more cynical. But my general outlook is pretty optimist because I am winning so far. And so, yeah, I have never been in trouble with the law. True. True. Others should pay special attention to me. Yeah, of course, I deserve it. Caring about the morality of your actions is for losers. That is kind of true. And I say that because the standard, and again, I'm going off of like the standard morality spectrum, right? People are generally like way too uptight about their morality. They're insecure, and you ought not be that way. Now, obviously, you got to acknowledge like, is this a sin? Yes or no. But past that certain point, moralizing it is just kind of superfluous. So, like, if the Holy Spirit is in you, you already viscerally understand when you do something wrong. So to kind of castigate yourself aside from that after you've already forgiven yourself, it's just a waste of time. So don't worry about your morality past a certain point, is what I gotta say. Like, for instance, you know, and this is a little personal, but it's like, okay, you lose your virginity at like 17, 18. Do you feel kind of bad? Like, you know what? Fuck, I didn't lose it with my wife. But I mean, it's not like I'm gonna cry in the shower about it. So like, get over it. You're in college now. Like, hey, come on. So yeah, that is kind of relatable, isn't it, folks? I have often been called callous or insensitive. Yeah, all the time. Obviously, all the time. Oh, you're so insensitive. Oh, you're so mean. Yeah, get over it. I am especially motivated towards making friends with famous people. Clout shark, let's go. You know what? There's no shame in it. Like, obviously, I want to get famous because who wants to go to law school? Second of all, it's like, okay, I want to make friends with people, but also famous. It's like saying I like girls with big tits. Yeah, up to a point, of course. Yes, yes, cool. I easily lose my temper. Not at all. I exploit others to my own ends. I don't really exploit people. Like I don't. Like I. I mean, is there an angle when I talk to somebody? Yeah, a lot of the times. But I am kind of in politics, so that's kind of how it works. But like on a day to day, do I really use people? No. So it's more of a neutral for me here. And given my capacity to be able to exploit people, I really don't. Like I don't ask for favors or anything. So clearly I'm not using my full potential in respect to being a Machiavellian. So from that perspective, I'll say neutral on this. And yeah, I mean, and again, there are certain angles. Like let's say you befriend somebody with more fame than you. I can be friends with that person earnestly, but also benefit from the clout and the residuals and then paying for trips or but I mean, you can like for instance, let's say you were to fall in love with an e-girl. Can you benefit from her clout? Yes, but was that really the purpose? You could have sold yourself as like, oh no, I'm doing it for the content, but I mean, you could fall in love with the chick too. So I mean, there's a little bit of a complication here. So I'll say it's a neutral, very difficult dynamic situation, of course, but we're young, so we kind of have to burn through experience, trial through fire, baptism through fire, is the saying. Question 14. I do what I want and do not feel particularly obliged to anyone. That's based. Yeah, kind of, actually. Neutral. Neutral. Again, mixed feelings. I do things because Obviously, I matter the most because that's the way that things generally work. If you read Ayn Rand, you get the sort of objectivism idea here where if you put yourself first, everybody's selfish, greed as the motivator, Gordon Gecko, that sort of motif, that sort of thing bears out in politics. Obviously, I do feel obliged to my family. I do feel obliged to people that are loyal to me. So, neutral. I keep track of sensitive information that can be used to hurt people at a later time. Neutral again, like okay, do I kind of have a mental track of like blackmailing people? Sort of like, do I have an idea of like, okay, this person did this that was fucked up, and I'll remember that? Sure, because that's just smart, right? But like, I could blackmail people. Like, it could, like, I have a ton of leverage. Like, I could screenshot text messages of people saying something that could get them canceled. I could do all that, but I don't really. So like I could do a lot more in regards to blackmailing people, but I really don't want to because I wouldn't want that happening to me, even though I haven't done anything illegal either. But so yeah, neutral because yeah, do I keep track of what people say? Yes, but do I actually screenshot what they say? Not really. So I could be doing a lot more in that respect. So I'll say neutral. It is one of those things to where like also you can't trust my answer because if I kept like a bunch of um if I kept a ton of blackmail, I wouldn't say I have them unless I'm Milo, in which case I'd be bragging about the hard drive I have with all of people's blackmail on my terabyte hard drive. But no, I don't really keep blackmail. I could, but I don't. 16 says I get moods when I act on a whim, thinking little of the consequences of risk. No, I am very calculated. I manipulate others to get my way. A little bit, sure. I get frustrated easily, not at all. I use insincere flattery to get my way. Nah, I could be doing a lot more in regards to flattery, but I don't. So I just say, nah. I'm egocentric, definitely. I often lack remorse, obviously. I use lies to get my way, a little bit, sure. I despise people who can't control their emotions, 100%. That's super annoying. I want others to admire me, yeah. I'm better than others, true. True, correct. All people are deserving of basic respect. Yeah. I expect special favors from others. Sure. I'm not as upset as others when someone dies. 100%. I fantasize about extraordinary prestige or status. Yes. I look down on people who unwisely share their secrets. Of course. I have a good relationship with my family. Yeah. Okay. I have grandiose tendencies. What does that even mean? The term grandiosity refers to an unrealistic sense of superiority in which someone believes themselves to be unique and better than others. It also infers a disdain for people considered inferior by the way that class, intelligence, beauty, heritage, etc. The term grandiosity refers to an unrealistic. Um, I don't think it's unrealistic at all. Like I have very realistic standards for myself. Sure. Most people are lazy and don't work hard unless they have to. Yeah, obviously people are lazy. That's why you see a lack of progression, which is why I hate poor people. Mostly, most of them are like cringe. I have a grand sense of self importance. Yes. Being ethical is more important than getting ahead in the world. Honestly, and here's the trick. On one hand, yes. Obviously, on like in a Kantian sort of philosophical view, of course, those the maxim of keeping track of everybody's well-being and also being a diligent, like high integrity person is important for the stabilization of a civilization. But what I will say in this case is that for the individual level, thinking from the Machiavellian sort of Frank Underwood school of thought, obviously getting ahead is more important because it helps more people long term and it benefits yourself. So there's two ways to look at this. I personally have a third position where being ethical is important for the layperson. Obviously, if you have a higher capacity and a higher calling, so to speak, then you can be more morally flexible in a secular sense. So for me, that makes sense. So being ethical is more important for the majority, and for the few that are competent, they ought to be able to cheat a little bit, at least like in a secular context. 35 is I feel that I'm more special than others. Yeah, obviously. Okay, dark triad test. Let's flipping glow. So I'm 96%. Okay. So on average, I'm 36.83% darker than the average person, which I guess skin tone wise I am 38% darker than the average person, of course. But we have 96% narcissism, 69% Machiavellianism, 46% psychopathy, whereas the average, and then my average among all of these is 70%. Okay, cool. Narcissism. Am I that narcissistic? Probably not. But the way I answered the questions gave the impression that I was. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, yeah, okay, I'll take it. So clearly, do I have a high opinion of myself? Sure, but like I'm a reasonable person, I think. So yeah, I mean, so that's going to be the video. What do you guys think? Is this like kind of representative of everything? Also, I was extremely honest in this video, which you ought to give me credit for because I didn't have to do this. But again, being open is an important thing. So like in the future, when this does inevitably bite me in the ass when I have more clout, you'll say at least this guy was a real nigga. Okay. So anyways, see y'all in the next video. Adios.